Run, win! Hello guys, this is James, and let's continue the Loser's Handbook on Forget Integrity. Bad business, integrity is what you do all the time. You know, and they say integrity is what you do in the dark when no one can see you. Integrity is, really it actually involves telling the truth. It's, really, he'll tell the truth. He'll do what's right. He'll do what he knows is right. Mostly it deals with telling the truth, being exactly honest and truthful. So, main integrity is telling the truth, So if you forget integrity, that means you don't tell the truth. You don't live in truth, and that's just bad. You tell lies. So that's forgetting integrity, Other thing is, what you do in the dark and stuff like that. But most of it kind of falls onto morals. As far as, I'll stick with forget integrity, what you do in the dark. Because, if you have fans and you're portraying if you're a lady and you're portraying a wholesome, beautiful housewife, but when the camera stops rolling, you're cursing and smoking and drinking and doing drugs, getting yourself high, and just acting silly, and then you go home and fornicate or commit adultery, watch junky television shows, but you're not living in truth, because you're portraying someone, you're promoting to the world that you're playing this beautiful family lady who does all the things right and stuff like that, but you're living your life contrary to that. So there is no truth when you deal with the word integrity. There's no truth because you're portraying something, but that's not how you live. You're telling people, to walk in love with their family. You're cursing out your kid at home. I mean, you're pretending, we should treat everybody kind and wonderful at school, and you treat people like dirt at home. You listen to your coach, you listen to your teacher, you do what they tell you to do at school, but at home, you don't listen to your parents, you don't do what they tell them to do. You honor your principal. There's a fly, or not, it's not a fly, it's like a gnat or something. You honor the principal at school, you don't honor your parents at home. You praise and worship God at church, but then when you go home, you don't read the Bible, you don't pray, you don't sing praises. You should be praising the Lord at home. You don't thank the Lord, give the Lord a shout for joy. You don't do that at home, so you're not actually living in truth, in the sense that you have dual. I guess that's where people consider hypocrisy comes from, because you are actually, what you're saying is, you're living one way in one particular avenue, but at home, as in your main lifestyle, you're living like this. So it's not really how you treat when you're living with different groups of people. You adjust your dialogue with different people. You don't talk about God to people who are sinners and don't want to hear about God. That's a waste of your time. If you're a bus driver and everyone's speaking in Russian, you don't speak English. You adjust yourself for that, but you speak English at home. This is more dealing with your lifestyle and what you portray. If you portray something as good and proper and appropriate, you have to walk in it at home. Otherwise, you're not walking in integrity. You're not walking in truth. And children will pick this up. They will see their parents living. Their parents will actually be acting one way at church, cussing at home. So what does a child learn? Well, you don't curse at church, but you can curse at home. You act one way in the house of God, you act differently at home. You say, oh, hey, I love you, pastor, and stuff like that. This is, integrity. Hey, I love you, pastor, stuff like that. Then you go home and you talk about him. You don't do that. That's where people get, the quote-unquote backstabbers and stuff like that, where they'll smile at your face and talk about you behind their back. That's wrong. That is where you have the integrity problem. Dealing with people, that's another facet. You're acting nice to them, but you really just hate their guts. This is not talking about walking in love and being cordial with somebody and praying for them. That's different. That's the way you're supposed to do it, because you really don't need to be having animosity against anything like that. You ask the Lord to forgive them. If the Lord tells you to do it, the Lord God tells you what to do about it. But if you portray, at the work, you love your boss and you're doing all these things for him, trying to get his favor, but all the time you're talking about him, that's an integrity issue. You know, don't sit there and talk bad about your crowds and your fans if you don't want to deal with them. I mean, go ahead and quit performing. I mean, so you can't. Oh, here's another thing. I mean, so that's integrity, you know. Now, the other thing is, if you are breaking integrity, which is what losers do, you know, forget integrity, you cannot get mad at people who call you out on it. If you want to portray a good, nice, moral lifestyle, you can't be drinking, driving, doing drugs and all that junk. And then get mad on your social profile because people are calling you out on it. If you're a role model, you know, promoting good health, you know, if you're in a sports thing for something, and say you're an endorsement for a health product or a health store, and you're promoting good health, but every night you're getting totally wasted on alcohol, and then you get in trouble, and their mugshot is on the news that night for drunk driving. You know, there's no logic in them getting on their social profile and getting mad at everybody because people are calling them and say, hey, you're supposed to be a role model for these people. You know, you represent this health thing, talking about kids live healthy, eat healthy, do this, that, and the other. And you're like, you know, going wild with alcohol, you know, doing that to your body, drinking, smoking, stuff like that. So you also can't, that's the other thing about integrity. If someone calls you out on it, there's no logic in getting mad. And the reason why people call you out, you know, if they expect you, if you're portraying you're something and they see you're not and they call you out, you can't get mad. But back on integrity by itself, if you're going to say and portray something, you have to live it at home. Otherwise, there's no logic in saying and portraying it if you're not going to live it at home. Don't make videos about subjects if you're not going to do it at home. Okay? In your personal life with everyone you deal with. Don't say honor your father and mother and do all that stuff and, you know, make campaigns or, purity and stuff like this, and then you don't do it at home. Okay? With your kids. You don't do it at home with your family. You don't do it with your friends. Don't say, listen. Don't say listen to everybody. Everyone needs to be listening. People have a story to tell. You should be nice to people. If you don't listen to people, you don't listen to their story, you're not nice to them in real life. You're a radio host or hostess, and you get up there and you're talking about, you need to listen to people, everyone has a story to tell, and you never know what's going on with them at their house, you know, do this, that, and the other, and be kind, junk like that. And then when the radio thing goes off and the producer says, okay, we're off the air, yay, that's a wrap or whatever. I don't think they say that in the what's his name, you know, in the radio world, but you know, and then after that you curse out your assistant because they forgot to bring you coffee. Well, you're a hypocrite. You are living a not integrity life because you're portraying something you're not. And integrity is when that's the line of truth. You are what you're portraying. And that's where I guess you end up with people talking about hypocrisy and stuff like that. But it's mostly dealing with truth, knowing right. So integrity, you know, you tell the truth all the time. You live in truth. And then, of course, that's also with living with something you portray, something you do, you're supposed to be doing, and you're supposed to be doing at home too. That's integrity. And so don't get mad at people who call you out on it if you are doing wrong, and forget integrity is part of the loser's handbook. So if someone calls you out on integrity, you need to go ahead and fix it, because that's part of the loser's handbook. Forget integrity. I can do whatever I want to. It's my life. Stuff like that. So I love you. Thanks for joining me. Be blessed in the name of the living Lord, King Jesus Christ. And remember, live, move, be.